What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Evil Geniuses starting on the CT side here of Vertigo. As we've pointed out in the pregame, not the strongest map for EG, but for MIBR, certainly a different story. Heavy util investment to kick things off here. We got smokes, flashes, mollies, and they are coming straight in towards the B side. They're not disguising this one, they're just going for it. Hit on kill. Way of Jota. On the site. It might be falling. All the bodies are here, though, for CT side. They're ready to mount a defense, set up a wall, but Jota has to reload. And a little Glock burst fire. We'll see that kill come through, but he won't be able to escape. The bomb is lost, and just one man remains. It's just Henny. And Henny cannot hang on, so no bomb plant, no pistol round for MIBR.
No, George picking up where he left off last night on Inferno, where we already talked about it. He was absolutely lights out, incredible drop. 34 frags there. And I mean, that wasn't that long of an overtime in that match. Only one OT feature, and it was a 19-15 win for EG. He also had 96 ADR there and a 1.49 rating. So he is definitely the player to watch on the Evil Geniuses side. And over on MIBR, I would say it's Jota, right? He's actually the one that impressed us the most in the previous one that we casted, when they played against ATK. But he's also their top frag throughout the playoffs at 114 frags and a plus 29 kill to death differential.
Dude's carried on the tradition, following in Cello's footsteps of fragging IGLing.
Yep.
Monstrous play. It's kind of what this team needs, though. I've had a little bit of mercurial play from Henny. When he's on, he's really on. And then BRN is the other big firepower piece. Turtle stepped up majorly in their match against ATK, but that's not usually who you expect to do it. He's a little bit more of a calmer piece for them generally.
Well, actually, he was their top frag in the last series against Team 1, Mike. 46 frags.
There you go. I guess Turtle's just a playoff gamer.
Yep.
All about the Turtle then. All eyes on him. Stan using the utility to just cool things down here towards ramp, trying to avoid getting run all over. With unarmored players, you'd imagine this MP9 has a chance to drop it. Don't know if that's the fight you want to take with an SMG, but hey, start to pepper some shots down range. Smoke comes in from the teammates, give them a little bit of cover, and here's going to be the engagement they choose. Stan goes to the Glock, and he's the only casualty on the round for EG.
Just George starting off with 3 kills in every both of the first 2 rounds. Not too bad.
Things.
Yeah, just George thinks.
62 ADR.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, it's only 2 rounds, but still, I mean, he has been that impressive. I want to talk about, of course, Vertigo stats for MIBR. We didn't really get a chance to mention it, but it is their best map in terms of round differential over the last 3 months, plus 78, 15 times they've played it, and an 11-4 record. The only map they have more wins on, 12-5 over 17 games played. We're into the action here. Turtle's going to get one immediately traded by Walco with the MP9. Looks like he might be hunting for more. Yeah, very nice nade. Stanislaw is going to take down BRN, Mike.
The nade denies the gun. It denies the rifle. It shoots the rifle further out. Walco was trying to get forward to grab the rifle and get the upgrade. And the HE blasts it into the stratosphere, John.
It's a little micro play there by MIBR.
Very clever. I like it.
Clever girl.
Stan's about to test it. And deleted. Jota was ready for it. That's the equalizer. And Stanislaw was alone on towards A, so they'll have to rotate EG.Wiz. They'll shift Walco as well, but at least for now, MIBR's not committing. They've got a minute. They know they can toy with this rotation a little bit, and, well, with no one actually on the B site, might be making a key read. George is pushing mid to get this information, but he sees no one in towards spawn. If they hesitate at all on towards these B steps, it's possible that George will just be on them. But they're still expecting that A-ramp hit, and now as they come around the corner, they're going to realize, guys, we picked wrong. We picked wrong. George is on the flank, though. George is on the flank.
This is a huge flank.
Oh, there's nothing at the front. If only there was someone on B, this would be massive. Still might catch them on the timing. 25 seconds. They've got no time to spare. Here's the chat coming back, though. Exit realizes just in the nick of time. We're not seeing anyone in front of us. There might be someone behind. What a timely peek. What a timely check from him. And I think that's probably going to end the round.
Maybe. I think there's going to be a peek from Walco here. No. Okay. Finally, they're going to fall off and just try to save here. But, man, you're so right, Mike. If George comes out there on the flank and there's at least one person to kind of contact with MIBR and attract their attention, for sure he gets at least one. But because no one's there, like you said, they look behind them and say, well, they got to be somewhere. And that's exactly where George was. Real shame that it didn't materialize for EG, but MIBR do find their first on the scoreboard here. And key piece to that round, of course, was Jota taking down Stanislaw to even out the numbers. And at that point, MIBR had more map to work with.
Yeah, it's EG that they opted to play the buddy system while going for the mid, right? It's kind of two minds. You really do leave B open, but they made a gamble. It did not pay off in this particular instance. Full buy will come out, though, so a chance to correct that mistake. MIBR bringing a lot of utility to the table in this one. We know how they like to rock with these rifle buys. And he generally not picking up that T-side off as often. He's going to go quick. He's going to go quick. He's going to go straight into the position with his name. This is where he likes to be. They've gained a ton of real estate here on the A ramp, John. That's a nice find in the first 30 seconds of the round.
Yeah, absolutely. Stan is going to be watching here towards the side hall, and Wiz just tossing a ton of utility onto ramp to keep MIBR at bay. And so far, so good, but like you mentioned, Henny's positioning is just so very nice. He can play oversight right now, make sure that no one can get into their path, and if anyone tries to peek around from ramp, he'll at least have more than likely one with all these reinforcements right by his side.
CT economy, the utility rather, is pretty stinky too. They've got a single Molotov. There's no damaging HEs. 3 flashes, no smokes. So a retake is not an appetizing prospect. You want to get the party started early, and Stan does so. That's a nice kill to find. Takes out Jota. Takes out the heavy hitter here on the ramp play before the ramp hit comes through, and now all the bodies are in position. They just need to find the shots, and that's a good one. Bomb dropped. Be recovered. There's only 40 seconds here. Time pressure starting to become a thing. Flashbang deployed. Stan overlooked Henny, but dropping another planter is going to make this a bit of an easier hold. Still 4 up here for EG. If the health's a little bit more dire. George falls by the wayside. Henny needs to get this bomb planted, and he knows that he's kind of stuck. The smokes are gone. The flashes are gone. He's hoping to get one more kill before trying to punch the numbers in, but instead he just loses a teammate, and now his own life.
Wow, that's a fantastic recovery by EG after losing the previous round. They just played the patient game once they had the read, but the key to that round is Stanislaw pushing out slightly aggressively, very tempered aggression, I want to say, through that smoke, gets the headshot onto Jota and backs off immediately to go for a more passive hold. That's the key, and then afterwards MIBR have no choice but to flood in because the time is against them at that point. And George, I think, delivered one, but I mean, the only mistake I can maybe say for EG is that George went out without much support and ended up getting one and done, but afterwards they really buckled down and made sure that they wouldn't go for those one-on-one peaks. Stanislaw's got the auto, and he gets 2 frags. Okay, that's $1,800.
Yeah, make that cash, make that money. And the upgrade. All right, auto chucked in the corner. Jota's like, where did those guns go? All right, got one of my own. Wiz getting a little adventurous here. Saw some good Tech 9 rounds over in Europe. Less effective when you throw your nades down the elevator shaft.
Yeah.
What if it was like, you know, if you throw the bomb down there, it teleports right under your feet?
That's right. Yeah.
What if you did that with a nade?
that would be a...
Oh, nade's on me!
Yeah. If people just toss nades down there, it would be like a set play to throw the nades there.
I do kind of miss the early days of Vertigo where there was the elevator open up top and down below.
Right.
I thought that was a neat mechanic.
It was
a neat
interesting.
way to pull a rotation.
I think I prefer it this way.
I think the map is in a much better place. But that one thing I do kind of miss. Rush with a nice kill should take the last little bits of danger out of this round. You got a single Molotov and a prayer. And you're going to be able to do something. These players aren't even grouped up, so Henny's just trying to get a gun and maybe save it. And indeed, it does seem like this is going to be a save over on the T side. So, MIBR in a tough spot. Without a bomb plant here, their teammates are not really going to be able to put much around this. Their economy is going to be in a really weird state. This is not the start they were hoping for in Vertigo.
No, not at all. And this was a pretty significant buy up here into this round, and Stanislaw just just dominates from the beginning, right? Just with that auto. And he's got it in his hands again. I think he's just waiting for a close range engagement, likely going to upgrade back to a rifle. No,
Nah,
he
he's
wants
sticking on
to
it.
keep the auto. But he had the
ferried it
rifle
over.
before.
He did, yeah. I think he carried the AK over to a teammate and then went back.
Oh, I see. I
think he literally just wants to play the XM from mid, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Look, those are 2 rifle players that he just deleted instantly.
But the problem is, so it's great for
They're
them
going to expect him.
The problem is everything else, John. If he needs to rotate it towards the side, I don't know if you really want to play an XM trying to defend A, you know?
No, I don't disagree with that. At least on the B side, it's okay because you can kind of hold close corners. But on A, it's tough.
I wonder if he plays scaffolding hallway or side hall over there on the A side.
That wouldn't be bad.
With the XM.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you're going for a retake in that situation, it's a little bit different, right? I think you wouldn't be in a position to get into side hall after the bomb or the site's been taken, right? And you're rotating back.
Yeah, I'm really curious about what he does in this round. If it's literally like an anti-eco strategy, I don't know. I find this intriguing.
I think there are very few maps where the shotty is viable throughout the entirety of the round, right? Regardless of what happens. Maybe Nuke? Perhaps.
Yeah, new cut play.
Yeah.
Solid piece. Even falling out of popularity, though. BRN just trying to run down a kill here. Found the momentum, eats a nade instead, and Wiz manages to avoid getting decapitated. So, nice mitigation here. Stan is, in fact, in the side hallway. Thought he might play here. See if he's going to make some more money, John.
Yeah, I think one thing that was really impressive for EG is that they managed to win yesterday without Stan popping off in a ridiculous way as he did in the regular season. He was inconsistent, had a lot of impact frags, but we expected him to be more present on the scoreboard than he actually was. Jota's going to get the entry here, going straight on forward to the A site.
Now, here's where that shotgun might be a limitation. Right?
Maybe.
Now he's stuck in the side hallway. He's still hoping to bring the fight on over, and he will get it. All right, $900 made. But he can't really fight effectively towards the site, and Henny's doing so much damage. So those rifles are out of play, and without them to play off of, what do you do with the XM? Well, you get one more kill, but that's it. They're going to be backing away. Rush, thinking about saving this gun. Some economy is built up, but not enough. Certainly the shoddy kills do help with that, but
yeah,
it's going to be MIBR putting a second on the board.
That's just a really good play from Henny, right? And he gets one and continues spamming through the smoke, realizing that Walco's been trying to spray him down through it, and he ends up winning that battle. So after that point, yes, obviously having the shoddy wasn't the best situation for Stanislaw, but at least he makes it work for a second frag, gets $1,800, he's at 5K. He'll be able to support his money with even more getting into his bank account after the round ends. So
the problem, though, John, is you've now let MIBR off the hook. That was the round with two saved rifles, players without loss bonus, and 3 unarmored pistols. They had very little going through this. They had no business doing that round. I think maybe 2 pieces of utility, a smoke and a flash. I think that was it. That should not have been a successful take, especially with the A ramp. You should be able to pick them apart from range every day of the week on that one, and that's going to be a bit of a failing for the evil geniuses. They're going to be frustrated, kicking themselves for that one.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say that it's all EG's fault in that situation, because maybe the utility wasn't as strong as it should have been in the defensive ramp, and they kind of let MIBR up there for free. But MIBR played it well. They sent both their AKs up. They were the ones trying to take that first contact, and they won all their fights. So, I mean, again, Henny did a fantastic job. I think that the only thing, like you were saying, maybe Stanislaw having the auto in that situation doesn't allow him the same flexibility to move around the A site, and he kind of pretty much has to hold that side hall.
I mean, it's still going to be down to the other rifles, right? You gotta get some impact. There's 4 other rifles there, but as it is now, seems like another A ramp test, perhaps. Deeper utility coming through from EG. They want these sidelines. They've gone for aggression by the B steps instead. Which is Turtle on the other side. Got a whole bunch of dueling utility from either side. They've dumped nades into this.
2 missed Molotovs, 1 on each side, going right into the smoke.
See. It's alright, you don't need those. It's not like they're valuable. There are 4 more available for EG at the least. Only 2 over on the MIBR side, but another one will start to go down as Stanislaw wants to hold on to this aggressive fostering towards the side hall. He's forced out. I am Molly of MIBR, and George has to back away as well.
Some good movement.
Drop back into the second position. MIBR, they get the real estate they so craved, and now they're in position to dump smokes and go for this take. This is the only dimension, though. They've given up their flanks. They've given up any mid presence as well, so it's just going to be a straightforward A take. Here it goes. Wiz dropped early. George, a little bit of an answer back, and he gets two. He's blinded up, but George just keeps tapping away. They can't kill him. They can't find his head. Finally, it comes through, but that might be too little too late. They still have a player to contend with Stanislaw, and there's no way they expected another to be on the angle. All onto Henny now. Hero play required. Only 25 seconds to go for, and Rush creeping up the ramp ever closer. If he tries to go for this plant close, Rush is going to have him. Check. There's the clear. Nearly the TK to finish off. But, you know, all good. They survive.
Yeah, I mean, they had a perfect crossfire. If a TK happens, it doesn't even matter. The most important thing is that, you know, last player on MIBR goes down. Just this play from George was ridiculous. I mean, the fact that he stays alive, gets 1, 2, and a third under so much pressure, right? It's not like they were peeking one at a time. They were all bunched together and trying to take him down. They just couldn't zero him in. And, you know, it's the George factor, honestly. He's that good on his site hold. He doesn't really need support a lot of the time and can do so much damage. 5-2 for EG. As they're going to have a pretty decent vibe. George has to settle for the MP9, but, I mean, I don't think that's too much of a hindrance, given that everyone else has a rifle. And over at MIBR, that's where the problems are arising here, as they do have that one AK, but everyone else onto pistols. 3 upgrades, Tech 9, Deagle, and a P250, but BRN only with the Glock. This is going to be a tough ask for MIBR, although, you know, they did do it in a somewhat similar situation, although they had an extra AK in that second round that they picked up. Shota's boost up over the smoke, has an opportunity on first frag, and he gets it. Stanislaw's down, and George, oh man, I think he wants to grab that M4, but he's not able to because of the utility that was tossed on forward.
Decent answer, Nade. But again, this is one of those rounds where it's a limited buy from MIBR, and Evil Genius is taking an early casualty. They can't afford to drop another of these. Response from Wiz. Surprised that HE hasn't come out. Oh, MIBR. I mean, they've still got a toehold here. But they're checking the flanks as well. EG doesn't know which way to turn. They're anticipating mid. Perhaps is the play, and it is a rotation from MIBR, so this is a good read. And actually, it is going to be mid as well. So an inkling here seems to be answered. Wiz for a check and a spot and a drop. He's out of there.
He's not. He's sticking around.
All right, posting. This time he'll collect. 35 seconds. Time getting short here for MIBR. If they're going to do something, you kind of got to do it now. They're going towards mid. They want that op.
Well, the smoke comes in here from the stairs, but Wiz misses the shot. Okay, an opportunity here, but time is very, very low. 15 seconds left. Wiz gets another one and finally goes down. But MIBR have to panic just to get the bomb planted, and unfortunately for them, it's not going to happen. Henny tapping away, has to win the fight, and even if he does, there's 2 more players left, and he will go down. 6th round picked up by EG. No heroics this time for MIBR on a lighter buy.
Now, talking about the heavy hitters firing early here for the Evil Geniuses. George with his 11th kill. Stanislaw sitting on double digits as well at 10. They are connecting early on here. Yesterday, it was sort of Walco and George as that dynamic duo, but as long as they have the 2 firepower pieces chiming in, they're A-okay. And meanwhile, I mean, you look at the bottom of the board, Rush is 4-1. He's been a B anchor. They haven't gone B that much. He's kind of been chilling. So when called upon, he's delivered and sealed the deal on some important rounds.
Not to mention, Wiz looks pretty good in the early goings. He struggled mightily yesterday on all 3 maps, in particular Inferno. Just couldn't find his rhythm, and largely in part because they started on T side. He didn't really use the op much there, and then when they went to CT side, I think he only got it 1 time in the first 5 or 6 rounds, even 7, and then did get it a second time and was finally able to make it work a little bit. But like you said, it was mostly Walco and George who were comboing to do the majority of the damage there. So it's good to see him get implicated. And of course, Stanislaw looks a lot more consistent in the early goings than he did yesterday. So a lot of good signs for EG.
pressure being put on the Stanislaw. But they do leave him isolated in a lot of situations. As I say that, though, now he's got 2 floating back to help him out. Utility's not exactly abundant for either side at this point, though. There are plenty of smokes for MIBR to work with. Oh, just get spotted. That killed it. One down. Spray control in the second. Can't zero it in. BRN with a trade. A bad one there. Taking down the Guardian of A ramp. That's just going to trigger them into a rotation. They're going B. They want to go fast. 15 seconds. They've got no time to spare.
15 seconds.
If Walco drops 1, this could be over. 10 seconds. Wow. He's just going to back
have to wait.
Girder. Everyone's here at this point. I mean, this is looking a little disastrous. 5, 4, 3. It's over. George is out of there.
This is something that really concerned me when we were watching MIBR last time, in particular on Overpass. They just waited so very long for their executes on the T side, and this has happened twice now, almost in a row, right? And they just don't, I don't know, they're not managing the clock well, and you can't be down to 15 seconds with so little map control going on to the B site. Eventually, well, what's going to happen is exactly what happened there. EG is just waiting, and all they had to do was hold for a little bit longer. Even if they lose the bodies, just about buying as much time on the clock, and it's exactly what they did. All right, Stanislaw, gonna peek around here. He's gonna have to move. That Molotov pushes him out of position. MIBR gonna need to see a little bit of a faster pace of play from them. Or at least if you're gonna go for the late executes, get really good control in one position and then toss your utility.
Yeah, going in blind towards B with 15 seconds on the clock, 0 information and limited utility is not exactly a sustained recipe for success. Rush says, I am so bored over towards B. Please, please God, let me play A ramp. And so they do let him play A ramp, and he's gotten 3 kills of 4.
Wow, 4.
All right,
okay.
There we go. Rush unleashed.
Yeah, Rush was taking care of it. I think he still is. A lot of the opening duels on CT side and T side yesterday. 27.3 of his attempts. He had 27.3% attempts on T side and 25.5% attempts on CT side. And we saw yesterday, and again, maybe we'll see on their T side if this happens, is a recurring issue. But the utility, the timing on the flashes was so rough, and we were commenting that Rush was almost constantly blinded by not only his own team but the opposing team trying to get into the sites. So again, he still managed to lead the team in entry frags with 13 despite all of that. But I think if they fix that timing, then they get even more lethal.
It's still Rush's resurgence as well has been one of the coolest things about this team. Because he's a player who, you know, going back to the days back in Optic, the star power was obvious into that Cloud9 roster as well. I think he's suffered from one of those double-edged sword type of situations where he is a very good teammate and very willing to take on a lot of roles, sometimes to the detriment of his own stats, and sometimes you get typecast like that. Here in this EG team, he's been able to reclaim more space, and he's been able to do a lot of work as the entry.
Yeah, and
Rush,
there he goes again.
Another opener. All right, why not? Dynamic position, takes down Turtle. And Turtle, you said he's been their lead fragger through the last 2 series. Well, quiet in this one.
At least lead fragger on team against Team 1, Mike. It was Joe.
One of those.
In the first one, yeah.
I spread a little misinformation.
Well, I mean, look, he was impressive in the last map that they played in that against ATK, right? So I can understand you making that mistake.
I'm here to jump to conclusions. Both feet first. Straight into it. That's what I'm about.
Why not?
Molotov onto the cement bags. No one is home. MIBR now, 55 seconds. The toe hold on. You'd imagine this is going to go into an A take. They've got 2 smokes for it. Need those 2 smokes for it. But here's first contact. It's going to be with Stanislaw.
It's a bold
Aggressively
position.
postured. Wants to play off his teammate's contact. He gets 1, 2, 3. Why not? Stanislaw knocks them all down.
I mean, it doesn't feel like there's a weak point on EG right now. Everyone is battling perfectly. And Walco, I mean, he's just sitting back saying, okay, I don't have to frag much. That's not a problem at all. I can focus mostly on calling. And this is an IGL's dream. 9-2 for EG. Have not looked too fussed at all. And MIBR continue to play a very slow-paced match, and I think EG are perfectly fine with that. I think they've got to pick up the pace at some point, and here is where we're going to see it. They're charging up the A ramp. They've really been in love with this A ramp. Well, let's see if it pans out for them. BRN is going to get the headshot onto Stanislaw, so that's finally an opening frag for MIBR, which they haven't seen for quite a few rounds. WIZ going to toss the incendiary over to ramp, and that's going to buy a little bit of time as George waits here, taking up Stanislaw's position.
Been a while since we've had one of these openers for MIBR. Inject a little bit of pace into it. George, oh, I think he spotted an edge of a backpack. Gets away. Molotov down. Jota goes through. Jota takes the initiative away here. What a nice play. Now the site is ripe for the taking. Where's the economy at? They've actually lost a lot of bodies, so it's not exactly healthy. Walco's developing on the flank, and it is being watched for. So this duel between Walco and Exit could actually determine the round. And Exit gets the better of him. With that, this could turn into a save, but a two-piece from WIZ, and we're back in, and right down to the wire that goes. Jota coming up massive for the team. A play through the Molotov to open things up, and two to close.
And difference there for MIBR, they went a little bit faster. They got into the faces of EG right away there with BRN getting that shot, and Jota in particular jumps ahead of the Molotov. George didn't expect that at all because he thought he had the molly down in time to deny that space, but not the case. So MIBR finally get themselves a third, and you're right, Mike, the economy wasn't that great for EG. The thing is, they say, well, we're going to force up into it and try to break MIBR right on back. 2 MP9s, a FAMAS, a Deagle, and an A4. It's not the best of buy-ups in terms of hardware. Utility is also okay. At least they got the incendiaries, 4 of them, to slow down MIBR. But it looks like MIBR have gone back to that very slow and methodical pace of play that they do tend to enjoy here on their T side. Taking some space up the stairs. All 5 players grouped together. No one really lurking. Here they come.
Indeed. Well, can get a Molotov down, but he can't control the catwalk. We are in. They're decidedly in. Damage there with the Deagle, but nothing substantial. With limitations in the weaponry, this is going to be a brutal retake for EG as the bomb is almost surely to be planted. Nice nade damage as well for MIBR before that bomb even goes down. Here it is.
Going for a boost. 3-man boost. I like it.
I don't know if I've ever seen this particular fight.
No, me neither.
But Jota has. At least once he loses a teammate, he has. They're going. Yeah. They're swinging. Exit's got one. Jota another. He's traded. But it all comes down to Stanislaw. With one more kill, he is swiftly escorted out of the server.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that full-on push there by EG, but I guess they figured, look, if we lose this round, we have to save one, then we'll get back to it. So they take a gamble. I like the boost a lot, but I think once you get that first one, fall off of it because they're going to realize what happened, and that's exactly what Jota does. So MIBR got a couple in a row. I do definitely like the way they played that one. 1 minute, 10 seconds left on the clock. They go for that quick burst into the B site and manage to take it cleanly without a single casualty, without even really having to get a frag, getting that space purely on utility. And at that moment, there's a choice that EG has to make. You could even go for the 5-man save because you're completely locked out of the site. The boost works, but after that, fully committing does not. Anyway, speaking of getting the site cleanly, that's what MIBR is going to do here, and that's because EG decided to stack the wrong site with the USPs. It happens.
Certainly does. Can't do much with auspices. See if they can take any guns out of the hands and really make a difference. Take every single gun away. And that they are certainly not going to do. Not even close. So one last round here in this half. MIBR, I mean, a 9-6 would be a very nice recovery.
Yeah.
10-5, still definitely a win for Evil Geniuses.
I would agree, yeah. I think if they can pull off a 10, it should be considered a very strong first half here on Vertigo, especially considering how good MIBR can be here. It's going to be full AKs, full util for MIBR, a little lighter on the util for EG. But they do have 4 M4s to work with. I think WIZ would prefer the op, but he's going to have to settle for the rifle. Henny charging right up. He gets spotted out. Great flashbang thrown by EG.Wiz, and that gives Stanislaw a free frag. Bjorn could get caught out as well, but no, he flicks up to get a headshot onto EG.Wiz. The problem is he loses a teammate to George. That makes it a 4v3, and the man advantage is retained for EG.
Rush is pushing this flank as well, quite aggressively, working his way back to spawn. That's a bold peek from Stanislaw, especially considering the flank that's developing. It's going to put major pressure on the Walco here, who hasn't exactly had his best day. Rush being low isn't going to take this to its logical conclusion. He'll be content to sit and wait for some contact. He knows that a fight can't come up the B steps, but they still have to be wary about mid. Know if someone's past him. So EG will risk it, making the assumption that it's all coming straight through A. George still occasionally checking to make sure that that is the case. So counting Molotovs are available here. There's actually a little bit of utility at the hands of EG. It's not bad. First piece goes out. Molly's still available. 2 smokes as well. And now Rush slipping into forklift. They think they've waited it out. Exit, that's a big kill. What can Rush do here? Oh, got spotted. Exit. What a round for him. It's all onto George now. The new addition needs to be the hero, and he cannot do it. 3 huge kills from Exit, and that's going to send us towards the half here, John.
Yeah, honestly, Exit deserves a lot of credit. In a couple of rounds, he's been that heads-up player looking at the flank and saying, hey, wait a second, let's see what's going on. He cut out George towards the B site very early on in this half, but afterwards, in this round, he looks behind him, makes sure the flank can't do anything. He gets a 3K to cap things off as we head to the break.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
So quite the recovery there at the tail end for MIBR. They were getting absolutely blown out, and they find their footing.
Yeah.
In the waning moments of the half, John, and, well, I'll see if they can get things started nicely. 3 sets of dualies. Not even quaddies, it's sexties?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. That would be technically correct. And they're all raid bosses, too. All of them body armor.
I'm actually doing the mental math now, because they do still have some utility on exit. Limited, to be fair, but... Yeah, I mean, I guess the cheaper dualies, you could do that. Tough one. Jota finds some. Turtle, not so much. Deleted. That's going to be the gates of the B site. Under threat. BRN, though, holds the line. Exit as well. And now... EG looking a little lighter in presence, and everyone's gone. All right. Relentless there with the pistols. BRN looking clean on the USP.
Yeah, that was clinical from BRN. Just tapping heads, making it look a lot easier than it actually is. Wow, and look, I mean, Evil Geniuses kind of did the same thing in the first half pistol round on their defensive end, but this one was a lot cleaner than EG. Because they had to recover at one point with George taking care of 3 frags. Either way, that's a 7 picked up from MIBR, a fantastic start, and they continue to take care of their momentum from that first half into the second one, and I believe have picked up 5 of the last 6 rounds. EG, not getting the bomb plant, will opt for the full-on save aside from a P250 picked up from George. Nothing else invested into this round.
I think BRN's about to have a field day. Henny instead. BRN actually gets deleted by Glocks. And it's Henny who just picks up kill after kill after kill after kill. Not. Time to make some money for Turtle. Wiz found. I mean, this gives us a moment towards the end of that half, and I mean, really through that half in general. The guy who's been missing here for EG is Walco.
Stan can get a plant here for free, Mike.
Oh my goodness, he could. Well, this is a blunder.
He absolutely will.
Stanislaw doesn't trust it. I wouldn't either. Certainly, they didn't just leave the site completely open.
They did.
But,
Wow.
in fact, it is your lucky day, Stanislaw. Early Christmas gift.
A very big gift, because that's $800 in a round. They only invested $300 in $800 across the board in their bank accounts. That bolsters their economy incredibly, and it will lead to a much stronger buy-up in the second one. I do agree with you, Mike. Yes, Walco a little bit MIA right now, but it's because everyone else has been performing quite well. So I don't know if it's necessarily the reason why EG was unable to really do well towards the latter part of that half, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just think he talked about it last night, again in the interview, talking about how sometimes the IGLing comes very naturally to him and he feels super comfortable with it. Other times it can be a little bit of a challenge for him individually. And I think that maybe you're reflecting that here. Vertigo has not been as comfortable a map for this Evil Geniuses roster as some others. And I think it probably is taking more of the focus to figure out the calls, to figure out the adjustments, to figure out the strategy here. And that does take your eye off of your own crosshair sometimes.
And it's going to become a lot more evident, especially on their T side, right? With T side, it's a little less stressful for the IGL, but now Walco's going to have to determine the best course of action to move forward here, and this is an important one. Their first rifle round, Mike. Yes.
I actually think I disagree with you about that on Vertigo.
Really?
I think figuring out timing on the rotations is the hardest part of Vertigo, and that's largely on the CT side.
Okay. I
think as a T, you could put it under pressure in a more of a predictable way. I'd be curious to ask. Maybe if we get an interview, we'll ask that one.
We'll see what side they fall on.
Yeah. Rush deleted. And towards mid, that fight is won by Jota. That is a very nice early find here for MIBR, playing with the advantage, looking to equalize in this first gun round of the second half. Stan's going to take up the position, think that it might be overlooked. 3 players here, but the timing on that Molotov is perfect. They don't give the audio cue, but it does slow down EG in a round where they're already slow. Good flashbang. Oh, it's so meaty.
Oh, no.
Jota will pick up all 3 of those kills, and Exit deserves more than an assist for those. My goodness, that flash was lethal, and Exit will get one of his own.
Look, Exit was solid in the first BO3 of these playoffs. He was great yesterday as well, but the thing is, he not only is able to frag fairly well, he's also the leader in terms of utility usage these playoffs, flashbangs anyway. 0.81 thrown per round leads the team on that stat, excuse me, and then 0.13 flash assists per round, which is fantastic. So, and you saw it there, 3 flash assists in only that 1 round. Jota needs to thank him for that. Jumping into this one though, EG appear to want to go up this ramp. They've only got the pistols into this round, Mike, and that utility is going to sail on forward. MIBR are bottling them up here at the bottom of ramp.
And Turtle's got this really aggressive posturing now by the B steps. He's going to be checked now. I say that he's backing away. There's still a smoke up. Once it fades, it does seem like they want to put him under pressure. He's not sticking around. Is that molly spread? Somehow that molly does not spread to the player in the corner. Bit of a blessing here for George. Yeah, and without that audio indication, Turtle is not called for a reinforcement just yet. Exit's pretty close at hand. But it's going to be up to Turtle here initially, and he only gets 1. Deleted. A rifle can now be picked up, perhaps, though Exit is on the scene. Try and lay down the law. Good flashbangs here. Force Exit out of his position. Rotation's coming through, but Jota and Exit right now. Let's see if the plant can come in. That's going to be the real challenge. I think the gun fell off the map. Jota sticking around, sticking in the flames. Exit and Henny as well. And it's a massacre.
Yeah, I mean, MIBR, like we mentioned, this is their map, and in particular on CT side, they are dominant, and we're already seeing it here. Turtle goes down 1 and done, so that's actually a pretty good trade from EG, but then Jota and Exit just batten down the hatches and close out that site. No business going to be done there for Evil Geniuses as they now fall 9-10. MIBR taking the lead. Timeout going to be called here, likely for EG to talk things over. Another important round going to be coming through here for them. I think the loss bonus is stacking up considerably, though. Probably hitting full loss bonus. In fact, yeah, definitely at full loss bonus now. So that's helpful for EG. You get a bomb plant, you can keep on buying, but they need to start getting some rounds, Mike.
Another round kicking off here. Heavy emphasis on the flashes. Actually, not a lot of HEs over on that T side, which is interesting. They can be deadly here on Vertigo. You'll see some teams commit towards nade stacks, towards cement, things like that. Has Henny been playing Henny? Not so much. Over by the crane this time around. Henny, for those who aren't familiar, is that spot tucked in behind the girder up by the side hallway. When you're very exposed towards a ramp, but it's a bit of an off angle. Became notorious for playing it for a while. But not stepping his way on in there just now. It's this spot right here where BRN just passed. Wasted Molotov there. Here comes the hit. BRN good for the first, but no more. And the repeat back in from Jota proves costly. Here's Walco coming alive for a bit of fire. It's good they need that over on the EG camp. And, well, now, continue to take this space. And he wants a repeak. He wants a repeak, but without the bomb spotted with 35 seconds still on the clock, keeping Turtle at bay. He's all the way back towards B, and Exit knows he has to check in towards mid. This could be anywhere. They've only seen Walco here. But it is going to be the A take. It is going to be the A hit. And Walco, he's going to be up again. Molotov forces Henny ever forward. He's committed into this angle. He's committed into this fight now. And Walco's got it.
Oh.
third of the round. He's doubled his kills in this one. There's only 10 seconds left. If there's utility on the CT side, that would be disastrous. But all the nades have been spent, and this bomb is going to go down uncontested.
They're going to save now, Mike. They have no reason to fight on forward. They have the money, but yeah, you don't want to throw guns away for no reason, especially on the CT side. You got to build up your economy. So excellent work by EG.Walco in particular. He's woken up, and wow, in such a big way. Like you mentioned, doubling up his scoreline, getting up to those 6 frags, but those 3 were the only ones that EG got at all, and they all went to Walco. Interesting little stat here, a fun one, Mike. In the regular season, Walco had 35 entry frags. When he had entry frags, he won, and his team won, 97.1% of those rounds. That is the highest I've ever seen. It is ridiculous, and they won that round too, so that's holding true.
Why do they simply not have Walco kill somebody every round?
Every round you win. Walco kill,
how it works.
There you go.
So that's so that's if he succeeds on the entry frag, they win the round.
Exactly. So when he's successful on the entry frag, they win 97.1% of the rounds.
Often does he win his entry frags?
He got 35 times in the regular season. So
yeah, but percentage. How many times did he attempt an entry frag?
24.6% of the attempts on the team.
Okay.
And had a 46.7% success rate.
There's the number. All right, so slightly under half the times. But half the times it works every time.
Yeah. When he did succeed, it was great.
60% of the time, every time. Rush finds the opener in this one, and wow, swift follow-up as well. Stanislaw, it's the 1-2 punch, and that's going to seal the deal on the round. MIBR says, no, thank you. We will back away. Because now the economy is looking a lot more depleted. This bomb's going to go down. Evil Geniuses will pull back into the lead. MIBR, back to their Jane Ball.
Look, I mean, yeah, they're Jane Ball. But Evil Geniuses, sometimes we criticize teams for continuing to go to ramp. And, you know, obviously, eventually the other team is going to pick up on that and deny them. But these last 2 hits have just been straight up ramp plays, and the entries are found. They get the site and it's over. So, hey, look, if it's working, keep doing it until it doesn't. 11th round picked up, and EG are going to retake that lead. I like how you tried to take away from that stat as much as possible, Mike, by the way.
Well, no, I was trying to get the actual details, because it's like, yeah, when he succeeds on the entry kill, they win. And it's like, it's similar to like 5v4 stats, where you're like, yes, they should win. You know, like if Walco, not one of their strongest fraggers, gets the opening kill, that is a really good sign for them. So it's like, okay, but how good is he actually at those entry frags? Because if he's really good at those entry frags, just do it every time.
Well, I mean, Stan is the better entry fragger, was throughout the regular season, had 41, only 6 more, but his success rate was 66.1%, so a little bit more effective. Still, I like that win percentage when he gets entry frag.
It ain't bad.
Pretty crazy.
It ain't bad. Gets him an 11th here. Pause coming in, presumably from MIBR.
It is from, let's see.
MIBR.
MIBR, yes.
And now, let's see how they want to deploy this. AWP for Henny is something that, to me, could be a difference maker here. Where do they send the op? Where do they send the big green? A ramp early.
It's usually a ramp, yeah.
There's a reason he's got a spot.
He's a little late to it. He was setting up that smoke, Mike.
Was indeed. And he's still setting a butyl. Flashbang for his teammates to peek off of, I think. And there it is. There's the flash. And now he'll shift back out towards mid. So never mind. Henny will not be playing Henny this round.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you push ramp twice in a row. The adjustment is there, and EG were thinking about it again. In fact, I'm still not entirely convinced they won't try for it, but MIBR are well positioned to deny if Evil Geniuses decide to dip their toes into this.
But look at how much of the CT utility has already been burned. You got a full belt on exit. Otherwise, you have this smoke, which is just being spent now. And then you've got Henny with 1 HE. There's still a minute to play. Exit's spreading the wealth a little bit, but that's it. They've got 1 more smoke here, John. 1 Molotov, 1 flash. This could be bad. Problem is the smokes have also been spent over in the EG camp. They've just got 1 remaining, so they'll need to save that if their intention is to take towards A. You kind of need a smoke for that. Bunch of flashes. Jota wants to take the initiative and gets it. Trade is there. But they've lost Wiz. They've lost the Opera. They've lost the long-range threat. Molotov coming in. Rush dropping off, though. This sows chaos over in towards B, and
that's such a good play.
it pulls the rotation. It even pulls BRN further back in towards the site, and they are going to take the A site. They're going for this. So BRN is the only one who can influence this take. He spotted one now, and he's got the kill as well. Well done. Smoke's going to be through, but they need to deal with BRN, and they know it! And he's a tough customer. Bomb down, man advantage in the retake. Walco trying to avoid getting dropped early. Do no such thing. It's all on it. George! One more bullet needed. Exit so very low. Dancing with death, and I think George knows where he was. Reposition is here. The shot is on. George, a 1v3.
Wow, what a play from George. He continues to stand on his head individually. 17 frags on the board, only behind Stanislaw. But I'll tell you right now, that was probably the most important play for EG so far in this series. Wow, he holds onto the site and is able to deny MIBR, despite MIBR responding really well to that bomb plant, and a great hold for a couple of frags by them as well. Unreal, George. Just unbelievable. Oh boy. EG, a shot in the arm from that, and it really does hurt the economy of MIBR, who will only be able to bring an A1S into this round, but the A1S already rings true for a frag onto Stanislaw, and that's the man advantage for the Brazilian squad. Thing is, evil geniuses are threatening towards the opposite site, or at least trying to convince
I think it's a big
MIBR
control.
they're going to go for a hit there.
I've done a lot of this.
Yeah, I just want to mention, Mike, I really like the way EG played that. It was a set play in the previous round, throwing that util onto the B site, attracting all the attention there because of how little time was left on the clock, but they were always going to go to A.
BRN with deep position with the found AK. Ooh, there's one. The trade is there. Still a man advantage. But one of the guns cleaned up. Jota is the big threat. He's shifting back to defend towards A, and EG becoming a little one note on this. They're going to hit once again this A site. A flank's developing this time. Turtle's getting involved on it, and there's two players here in front of them. So they got to go quick.
Nice. They slipped by.
Problem is no utility for a CT side. Makes this retake a nightmare. Provided Turtle doesn't kill a bunch of people on the flank with this found AK, this round should be good.
Wiz is watching.
He is. And he's good. All right. Round well in hand. Sort of the classic that A site is a nightmare without util, folks. It is just such a tough retake. It's one of the reasons why you've seen MIBR commit so early to saves.
Yeah, the incendiaries are so important to try and deny the plant, right? Get them on the site, get them on default, so that at least it'll keep the T's at bay a little bit longer and allow those smokes to fade. But without them, like you mentioned, Mike, it's a nightmare. And EG are able to take it, and they've really dominated this A site. Thing is, in that round, of course, it was a limited buy-up. Jota gets the opener, which is what you need if you're MIBR, but they didn't have the follow-up. Just spotted out the ankle with Stanislaw.
Always good to crack some ankles. I'll be feeling that one. It's like when you step on the side of your foot. Just sore for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Does that happen to you, John?
When you step on the side of your foot?
Yeah. Just like mess up walking sometimes and step on the wrong side, like the side of your foot.
Occasionally.
A bit.
I think it's more so what happens is there's a dog bone sitting on the ground and I step on it. That's
Familiar with that one. For me, it's these. You get these little beef kneecaps for Noodle. He loves them. God, do they hurt to kick.
Exactly. By the way, Mike, I just realized this stat. MIBR actually wins more of their T rounds than their CT rounds. 66% of their T rounds are usually successful. So EG did a really good job denying them in that first half. And now George is going to take down Turtle. Here they come.
Two massive kills. He drops the bomb as well in towards mid. This is going to be a huge threat. Wiz just needs to section out the sightlines to allow George close enough to reclaim it.
Or
and
he's
they've
just
done that
himself, yeah.
So now they're backing away, but the threat's going to come in towards that mid berm. Someone needs to be focused up, and right now no one's watching it. They secure the flank. They're into the post plant now, but that allows Jota forward. Wiz under threat. He connects on one. He lives for the moment, but he is not going to be put down. Wiz popping and locking, grooving and moving. and taking them to the tune of 3.
Oh, Wiz looks so much more comfortable today than he did yesterday. That's a fantastic 3K. Honestly, though, Jota should have had him dead to rights. Jota whiffed a little bit on his spray, and that gave Wiz a second chance to peek around, and it cost Jota and MIBR 14-10 now, and the momentum has heavily shifted in EG's favor. Not only that, this economy is not great. MIBR had an option to just save for OT, but they decided, you know, we're going to use the loss bonus, take a little bit of a risk, invest more heavily on BRN in particular, and Jota with a couple of rifles, and we'll still have a viable buy-up in that last round. So let's see if it works out for them. So far, so good. Turtle gets the headshot onto Walco. That denies that presence towards the B site and allows MIBR to perhaps shift more of their attention towards A, which has really been great for EG as of late.
Storm roiling outside my windows, and there's got to be a storm in the columns for MIBR right now. They need this round. They've once again been gifted the opener in a round where they have limited weaponry. Look at this positioning for Rush. He's all the way through in towards spawn. Just coming back though. Oh, knife out. He had no idea, no expectation, and now under threat. No. Turtle doesn't even get a chance to shoot. Stanislaw checks the only angle that could be an issue. And this is going to be a lost round. MIBR totally out of position, totally out of chances. Maybe they can reclaim Jota's gun, but this bomb's going down, and that's looking like map point for EG.
Yeah, it just Rush slipped through the cracks. Jota not expecting it, and after that, Turtle gets spotted out, then wallbang through the danger panel. So EG are going to take this one. Of course, MIBR just wants to save that rifle. It's what you have to do, given what you invest into this one. And they will still have a good buy-up in this next round, but EG are putting the pressure on MIBR's map pick. 15-10. And if you recall, Mike, MIBR did manage to make a comeback against ATK when they were down by a similar scoreline. That was on Mirage, if I'm not mistaken. I think they still ended up losing the map, but you can't count MIBR out, is my point. They are really solid, and they've got a great foundation. They never panic on that side.
No, they don't. And hey, the team they seem to be trying to emulate, Outsiders. Well known for these late comebacks. Exactly. Well known for taking everything the maximum distance. See if they can do it. See if they can replicate here. AUG out for Turtle. Curious what the line he's going to play on B is with this. Presumably further back, maybe from the headshot angle on default.
AUG underrated.
He's going a little deeper. Dumping util at the very least before he backs away. What are we getting from the T side? Tons of util out from MIBR. Denying those initial fights, denying those initial takes, and now they're going to make their move on in. So I got these footholds. With 2 players here to defend on B. MIBR actually well set up to fight this. 4 players coming over though.
Yeah.
It seems pretty straightforward. Doesn't seem like they're hiding this one. Here comes the take. Player up by the danger panel, John. Here comes the exact charge. Eats a team flash. And the counter flashes as well are effective, so they're actually backing off of this. They haven't found contact. They've baited out a lot of counter utility. This is it. Stan just got himself an opening pick here towards the A ramp. Henny. Oh! Henny erased! What was that shot from Stanislaw? That might just end this map. Stanislaw with 2 huge entries. Jota can do nothing else. A 2v5 to try and keep them in this. Evil Geniuses in full control here. Yes, George picked up off the flank, but the bomb is down. It's ticking away, and Exit and Turtle have their work cut out for them. They have a Herculean task in front of them. They got to roll this boulder up the hill. And that hill is steep, and the journey is long. And conditions, they're mighty slippery. Rush, looking to end this. Walco to play off of him. Stand behind. I mean, there's so many layers to this defense. How are you even going to get onto the bomb? You're not is the answer. Evil Geniuses take MIBR's map pick and move up 1-0 in the series.
Wow, what a performance by EG. Once they decided to really go and focus in on that A ramp, they would not be denied. And they threw up the change-up pitches at the right time, right? They got a B hit in the mix there. It really threw MIBR for a loop, and they ended up taking that round as well. And in fact, 7 rounds in a row for EG after MIBR take their first lead in